Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching. My name is Brooke and today I am going to share our curriculum that we have used this year. We are in the middle of our school year, mid-year, and I thought it would be a good chance to share what we've been using. I'm sharing our non-classical conversations curriculum. So when you are in classical conversations, there's a few subjects that you choose what you want to do at home. Math and spelling are two of those, and then reading is the other one. So I'm going to share what we've been doing for math and spelling this year. So my fifth grader, Cameron, she did all of word roots, and it's on a PDF, and I printed it out and threw it away already. So I just decided to write it up here so I wouldn't forget to say it in my video. So the thing with that was that I bought the beginning level, which is for 3rd and 4th grade. And the reason I did that was because when I looked at the level 1, which is for 5th through 12th grade, the workload looked more than she could handle in one day. So what I did was I went, I started out with the beginning level, but then I actually had her do 2 worksheets a day. So technically, whenever they have this, they have the curriculum set up to where the kids are doing work out of the same prefixes, suffixes, word roots, the same word list for 4 days, which is, kind of how you do spelling and vocabulary. She was really only doing it for 2 days because I was having her to do 2 worksheets a day, and she just wasn't really learning anything, retaining any of it, because she didn't have that, there wasn't that reinforcement for 4 days. So she did finish it. She didn't like it. I think I finally figured out that she really is just not a worksheet kid, a worksheet student. So that has something to do with it. I think it has to do with not having that list of words for 4 days and really letting it soak in and retain that information. And so, she feels like it's a useful curriculum or a useful use of her time. The other suggestion that I would make, so the first suggestion would be to go with your grade level, unless, your child's behind or something, which your child. And I know that she could handle the words from the level 1, but I just didn't think she could handle the workload. So what I should have done was buy that level and just maybe cut the workload in half, or something similar to that. And then, she would at least been exposed to those words for at least 4 days, and hopefully she would retain that information a little bit better. The other thing is that they have a software program that you can buy for each level, and it's different games that the kids can play on the computer that reinforces those word roots. And I think Cameron would have enjoyed that. I didn't realize that it was offered at her level, at that beginner level until she was almost done with it. So anyway, word roots, I think it's an okay curriculum. She was not crazy about it. And I think that I didn't use it correctly. So I am so guilty of that. And it usually does backfire on me. So you think I've learned my lesson. Okay, Ashley started spelling her year off doing sequential spelling. She is a struggling speller. She's a 6th grader. And I think this was working for her. It's laid out by days. And we got to the 27th day. And I was packing up at our old house to move to this house. And I really just needed something that was more independent. This is very teacher intensive. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take, the teacher has to, or the parent has to give the students, their quiz every day. So I ended up digging through what I had on hand and found the good old word ladders. So she's been doing, I just want to show you guys the graphic of that. Word ladders since about October. She's got, I don't know, maybe 4 or so left to do. And so then she's going to do something else. I did give her the option, a couple different options to what to do for the rest of the year for spelling, and sequential spelling was an option, and she did consider it. In the end, she picked something else. But my overall review on this is I do think it would work. I think it was working. They usually get the words 3 times. And by the 2nd day, she had it better. By the 3rd day, she was totally getting it. And I was seeing that in her writing as well. So, oh my God, my hair's a mess. So I'm holding on to this. I told her that we might come back to it next year, depending on, you know, what everything else in Classical Conversations looks like next year. So anyway, that's her spelling. Something else I wanted to share with you guys that I haven't showed you was that I went ahead and got some of these dyslexia game workbooks. I got the 1 and 5 because I thought these were the ones that looked really great, and the ones that I thought my kids would enjoy. So I got these. We've been working out of these. My oldest is dyslexic. I mean, she's never been diagnosed, but I think we figured it out on our own. The other thing that we did for a while was a vocabulary program based on picture study. I do like this. Ashley really liked it. Cameron was just okay with it. They both are finishing out their second semester of spelling just doing this. It's easy. It's just 1 sentence a day based off the picture. So I like it. It's okay. I probably won't buy it again. That's kind of, you know, whether you know something's really fantastic or not, I won't buy this again. And one of the reasons is because the language arts in Classical Conversations, it's pretty thorough. So I just don't know that I would do something extra like this. So if we're going to do spelling, then I'll probably get a spelling program. So let's see. For math, we've done Math 6, teaching textbooks. Ashley has enjoyed this. Cameron has not. Hold on. I don't know why okay, I think I'm, you know, the thing is you have to set your problem up. If you don't line the numbers right, or you know, a 6 looks like a 0 and that sort of thing, then it throws your whole problem off. Then if you're typing it in wrong, then you get it wrong. And so many times she's came to me and showed me the answer she's typed in and what, you know, it says in her, on her dry erase board, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's one of the reasons why Cameron is not crazy about it. I just ordered her something new, but Ashley she's liking it pretty well. It's taken her a while to get through it because of that, you know, write your own problem down. Then once you get it solved, then you have to type it in. So she's getting a little bit faster with it, but that is definitely an issue. So it's slow, but we're getting there. So that is nearing the end of our curriculum. I wanted to share something with you guys because I'd said that this is what I was going to do before for cursive. This is what they were doing. I would write a question in cursive, a fun question, like this one is, what makes you happy? And then there was the date. So they'd have to write the date in cursive. That was kind of their practice. You know, how to format the date and also practicing cursive. And then they'd have to read this sentence and they have to understand it, and then they'd have to answer it in, you know, they could print it. I didn't care about that. But recently I got a book, and I probably should have had this in here, but it's questions. There's 365 questions, but there's spots on each page for 5 years. So I kind of did that for my girls. So like, this is a question and I wrote it out in cursive. What is this? What is your favorite movie? And that was on January 10th, which is today. And then right here, I wrote 2019. So this year, this is her favorite movie. And then next year I'll write 2020 and she'll answer that same question. And we'll do it for 5 years or so. So you know, it's still kind of reading cursive. They're not writing. And actually they are doing a little bit of cursive in CC, but I'm only doing non-CC stuff right now, so I'm not going to share that with you. So here's some books. That's pretty much all there is. There's not a lot that we have, you know, reading. We just read for fun and read together and sometimes read separate, and then they tell me about the book and whatnot. So, but here's some books that we bought recently. These are pretty awesome graphic novels. Talk about the story of all of us, mankind. It's by the History Channel, and they are graphic novels, which my kiddos love, and that's why I bought them. So I've just kind of, I'll read through it, and I'll get to a point where we are in history, you know, and I'll say, okay, read up to this point, or read this chapter, or whatever. And if we don't read it for a couple of days because you know, the book is going through history faster than we were doing it in school. My girls will say, well, what about that one book? So they do enjoy it, and I'm glad they do. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because these are some good ones. I'm telling you. My girls ask to read them, so that's always a good thing. Now this we have not even started. So if anybody has any feedback on this, Case for Christ for Kids by Lee Strobel, I'm pretty anxious to read this with them. Just have some pictures, and I gave this to Ashley. She had it in her room for probably a month, probably like right before Christmas, and she hasn't read it. So I went ahead and said, well, why don't we just read it together? Usually she takes these books and just devours them. And then here's another one that I've been wanting to get and read with them, and we have started reading this. We read a couple questions a night, and they happen to have this in their Sunday school class. So sometimes we get to one and they're like, oh, we've already read that from our Sunday school class. So anyway, they got a good Sunday school teacher. Okay, so that's it. Some other videos that I have coming up are schoolroom. We got a new schoolroom. So we've had 3 schoolrooms in 1 year. So this will be it for a while, though. We shouldn't be moving any more. So I will have a homeschool room tour, and I will be sharing what we think about classical conversations, and what we like, what we don't like, and if we are going to do it next year. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.